Welcome back to the WSL Roundup. We've got one hell of a show for you this week. We've got controversial penalty decisions. Liverpool, I know that's going to sting for a little while.
Emotional damage.
We're also looking at Chelsea's dominance and how they swept aside Man City really on the Saturday night show. And then obviously down at the bottom, we've got a real relegation battle that's starting to heat up with an absolute blinder of a game between Palace and Aston Villa. So let's dive into it. It's going to be a great episode. Okay, so we have to start off by talking about the controversial penalty this weekend. It really was a howler. There is no getting away from that. And it has obviously stirred up the conversation about VAR again, which we'll dive into the pros and cons of in a moment. But for all those who haven't seen it or have wanted to get it out of their mind, mainly Liverpool fans, here's the clip again. We can clearly see Fuka Nagano tripping Honaka Hayashi outside of the box, and it's not even close to being on the line. It's at least 1.5 feet outside, and the referee Abigail Byrne still gave the decision. Now, if we pause it here, you can actually see that Abigail actually has a really clear view of it, as does the linesman. So there's no reason that she should have given that penalty. And, you know, it's a painful one for Liverpool to take. Rightly so, Matt Beard was, let's say it, he was, let's say, a little bit more than annoyed. And feels let down by the officials. And I get it, because the last few Merseyside derbies, they've had decisions go there against them. And equally in this one as well, there could have been a handball in the box, and they didn't get that either, right? So you can see why he would feel aggrieved. All of that obviously leads into the conversation around VAR again, because there have been a number of decisions that have kind of impacted team each week. And Matt Beard even points that out, saying it's not just his team that's impacted, it's everybody's. And Carla Ward, the ex-Villa manager, also says, you know, the world is watching and you can't be making these kind of mistakes because they kind of impact people's livelihoods nowadays. And while I do understand what they're saying, I think it is a little bit more kind of over dramatic. Is that the right way to say? Let me know what you guys think. To say that it's so impactful. You know, there are still a number of games a season, and I think they balance out. And bringing VAR in, you know, to negate these decisions, and, you know, looking at the first game of the season, Ford's offside, you know, probably wouldn't have ruled that out, and Beth Mead's goal probably would have ruled that one out, and still it would have been actually a draw at the end of the day. So, you know, you win some, you lose some with it. And, you know, I'm not one for bringing VAR in, purely because the game is raw, right? I hate it in the men's game, and guys, tell me as well, everybody, if you enjoy it where you have a 2-minute pause, a 5-minute pause, they're looking at toes, they're looking at, you know, knees. And in the women's game, if they bring it in, are they going to stop it because a boob is, you know, over the line? Like, where do we draw that line, right? Could you imagine being a bit more large-breasted and for that reason the goal is offside? You know, we make jokes about it, but it can impact the game that way. I mean, here's a clip right now of, you know, Lukaku's penis that was, I mean, also his thigh, but, you know, it highlighted on the VAR, and, you know, so can the boobs be ruled offside as well? I mean, maybe that's a talking point here. All jokes aside, because at the end of the day, referees are humans, right? So there's always going to be human error, human element to it, and that also makes the game what it is. It makes it exciting, it makes it controversial, and it's a sport at the end of the day, and we kind of love it for this. And it hurts when it goes against your team, but it swings and roundabouts. At the end of the season, I reckon it balances it all out. So look, let me know what you think. Should VAR be brought in? Should it not be? I don't think it should be. And it was just a howler by the referee. And we should support them at the end of the day as well. Maybe they need a bit more training and support from that system. But overall, you know, I don't think they need to bring VAR in. I think, you know, it was a terrible decision. But at the end of the day, these things will happen. Okay, so second topic on today's episode has to be about the fantastic job that Sonia Bonpasta is doing at Chelsea, and how the absolute Jugganaut is just getting up to speed, and it looks like an absolute powerhouse. Before we do dive into that, though, I do want to give a shout out to how fantastic it is to see that the main ticket on Saturday night football is Chelsea versus Man City, and it's women's football, and the backing that Sky Sports are giving it It's something we've all been working towards for many, many years now, to have that, front and center kind of viewership and in the mainstream media, and just to have it on the Saturday night fixture was fantastic to see. Now, on the flip side to that, I have to say that watching it live on Saturday, it wasn't the best quality overall. And the reason I say that is because a lot of the passes were wayward, and I'll put that down a little bit to nerves and the large occasion, that, the quality wasn't always there. But overall, it was a fantastic game. And overall, Sonia Bonpasta tactically got that spot on. She knew that she could allow Man City to, have a majority of the ball. They had over 65% of it, and just and allows Chelsea to sit back and kind of almost counterattack. And counterattack they did, with the goal that Ramirez scored, as you can see here. It was a pass through the centre. Ramirez gets it, and it's a fantastic goal from Ramirez. Chelsea knew exactly what they were doing, and even when the sheet came out and you could see that Baltimore was left back, and she's not a usual left back, you thought, okay, maybe. But she had a phenomenal game. She kept Man City quiet, and then you also had on the right-hand side, you had Lucy Bronze with a fantastic performance as well, who kept Mary Fowler quiet again during the match. Now, I have to say that, Man City definitely missed Lauren Hemp, and we give a lot of love out to Lauren Hemp. I think she's been the best player this season, bar none. I think she's also been Man City's best player, and she's been my favourite to watch. So, she's gone into surgery today. She came out of it. We hope, it's not going to be too long. They're saying it's not an ACL. But could this derail City's season? Their best player who has, won them so many matches this season, out for at least a few weeks or so, going to impact? I think so. And Man City can't afford to lose any more games, because Chelsea don't look like they're losing any. Sonia Bonpasta has broken records by how many games she's won, the first 7. And, if they beat Man United this weekend with their game in hand, they're going to go into the international break at least 4 or 5 points ahead of, Man City in second. And those are scary numbers already. I know it doesn't seem like many, but can't bet against Chelsea running away from it. What do you guys think? Is it too early to call it? Well, probably, but who else would you call it for at the moment? Man City's the only one close enough. I think Brighton are just, too far away, really. Arsenal are looking good under Sleggers, don't get me wrong, but that bad spell they had before Jonas left really has dented their title challenges, really, title contenders. So, with Sonia knowing, tactically how to play against each team, going back to that possession thing, where it did count, they beat Man City in all the stats. So what did it say here? It said, so all the other stats, 15 shots to 8, 6 on target to 2, 30 touches in the penalty area versus Man City 16. They really dominated in the areas that mattered and kind of hit when they needed to. So, I can't go against Chelsea for this title. As much as I put at the start of the season it was going to be Man City's, Chelsea just looked too good. What do you guys think? Is it Bonpasta party already, or too early to call? All right, let's dive into the bottom of the league. Let's go head first. So down at the bottom of the league at the moment, you've got kind of a 5-6 way tie almost between Spurs on 7 points, Villa and Everton on 6, and then you've got Leicester, West Ham and Palace propping up the league on 5 points. I think Villa are too strong to go down. I mean, their famous last words, and you guys can say in the comments, don't ever say that, because anyone can go down. But I really do. I think they showed it in resilience against Palace this weekend. Palace were unfortunate, actually, because Villa kind of switched off in the last 20-30 minutes, and that really could have cost them with the goal that Blanchard got. But overall, they were strong, and it was a fantastic goal here. You can see by Salmon to win 3-2. And then you've got West Ham United, who went up against a really strong Brighton team. There's a reason they're third at the moment, and a rejuvenated Kirby, who's been fantastic all season. And even with this assist here, she's got some tricks in her bag. She's playing with confidence. And West Ham, even with 2 good goals by Gorey, were undone by just the quality that Brighton have. For me, the real worrier is probably Leicester. They played Man United and lost 2-0, and they're struggling to score. Let's be real here. When you're missing chances like this and putting it just a few yards wide, putting it wide when you're a few yards out of goal, that's going to hit your confidence a little bit, and you're going to want to start getting rid of those misses very, very quickly out of your repertoire, because you're going to struggle if you can't even put the ball in from a few yards out. So, overall, I'm actually excited by the relegation battle that's probably ensuing, more so than the top, because as I just mentioned, Chelsea are racing away with it. But, really between Villa, Everton, Leicester, West Ham, Palace, and probably even Spurs we can throw in there as well. Spurs love to ship some goals at the moment. They don't like to keep a clean sheet. They just have a very good, strong forward, with a Beth England in there. But even them, you could probably throw into the mix of, who's going to go down? Who's going to be battling it out for the rest of this season? It's going to be a really interesting watch. I'd love to hear in the comments from you guys, who do you think's too strong to go down or won't go down? Who do you support and don't want to go down? And who do you actually also think is going to go down and deserves to? Maybe it's a controversial decision, but let's see. I, for one, will be watching the bottom of the league more so than the top. All right, and just to round out in other news from this week is, as I mentioned, Lauren Hemp's injury. Let's hope she does okay. We've got the Man United game versus Chelsea this weekend on Sky. That's going to be an absolute belter. And maybe hope that Man United win. They're looking strong. Mark Skinner said this week that he was annoyed that they hadn't been taking their chances, especially against the Villa game. And it was great to see them taking their chances and feeling back to themselves again this week. So who knows? They could spoil the Chelsea, party that seems to be going on at the moment. They also, Chelsea are playing in the Champions League. So we've got the Champions League fixtures this week as well. So there's a lot going on in the WSL and women's football in general, because in 2 weeks' time, we've also got the England versus USA game as well. So there is a lot of talking points. What are you guys excited for? Are you excited for the Chelsea game? Are you excited for the England game against the USA and Switzerland? What else have we got going on? Arsenal. Do you think they should give Sleggers the chance? I do. I think she's a strong contender for the job, because who else is out there? Who do you guys think are out there? And then also, She's stabilised them after the Jonas kind of era of, highs and lows, and their lost identity in the end. They've actually started bringing that back. You've got Russo that's starting to score goals again and look back to her confident self. And just the plays and the movement of the ball that they are creating is back to what Arsenal did best. Looking at this goal with Blackstenius at the weekend, it was just a fantastic team goal. And I, for one, am happy to see it again. And for me, I think give Sleggers the chance for the rest of this season. What do you guys think? Again, going back to it, what are you looking forward to? Let me know. I look forward to making more videos with you guys. And, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.